Hey guys, it's Kyle, and I'm back for another video of what it's like having solar panels in Michigan. And today we'll go over the June electric bill, which is for the May activity. And we'll also go over some electric rate changes that I noticed from last year to this time of the year. And yeah, we'll dive right into it. So, as you guys can see, the bill for this month was $36.16. Pretty happy with that. We generated 423 kilowatt hours on the solar panels. We sold back 305 of them. So that gives us a used while producing of 118. So that means that 118 kilowatt hours we actually produced from the solar panels, we used immediately, so it doesn't even show up on the bill, which is best case scenario. So once again, I'll just zoom out a little bit here just to kind of summarize it. So we had 423 kilowatt hours generated April 30 through 5/29, which is the exact same dates as the bill. The 305 that we did sell back, that gave us a solar credit of $27. And since there was those new consumers changes, you can actually apply all $27 to any of these charges on the bill. You used to be able to only do it to the energy charges section. So that's a great change. And it allowed us to, one, we didn't have any carry forward credit, but we were able to offset all the other charges with, I'll zoom back in here. So you have like the distribution charge, $22, system access, $8. And then of course the energy charges was actually only 26. So when you add all that together, you net it with the solar credit, we only had $36, which is great. One thing I did want to note is just the rate changes from this current year to last year. So this obviously is the most current bill, and we'll just start by looking at the energy charges. So it was 0.087 was the energy charges that we just had. Scroll over here. And then you can see it was 0.095 back last June. So it actually went from 9.5 cents to 8 cents. So things definitely got better in that sense. But if you were to look at the distribution, it was 0.074, and last year it was 0.06. So this distribution section went up a cent. The electric charges actually went down a cent. So it kind of netted out to each other. I have a hunch. I could be wrong. I don't work at consumers, but since this consumers update that I gave a couple months ago basically allows more customers to have electric, and then also you're able to have more solar panels than you used to be able to have. You can now generate from up to 110% of your last 12 months of electric bill usage. My hunch is that they increased the distribution charge to ensure that they're still getting paid, because a lot of people were able to net the electric charges costs, with having solar panels, but this distribution part you didn't used to be able to get rid of. So just a hunch, could be wrong, but like I said, it kind of nets out, but just still wanted to note that. So then down here, this total electric use, it kind of just gives a graph of how things have been. So last June is when we got the solar panels installed, but they weren't officially turned on until really like this midway through July, August timeframe. They were kind of turned on too early, so then we had to turn them off. It was just a whole fiasco. So this will be, the first year we can actually see how everything went. So June should be a lot lower. July and August should be as well. So very excited for that. We'll see as time goes on. But this 423 kilowatt hours generated is still the best we've had to date. So very, very excited about that. So I also wanted to note the full year data from the solar panels and what we generated. So I've just been, writing down, documenting the actual kilowatt hours generated each day since we've had them, and the average that we've had for per month is 258 kilowatt hours. So that's not bad. We like I said, we have not included June and July in there yet, so that should make this number go up. But when we first got them installed, the plan was to have it produce 80% of our last 12 months of production, which was 404. So we should be generating around 323 per month. And once again, we're only at 258. So I think we'll get closer to that 323 once we include June and July. But if we're not, then that's probably about the time I'm going to go back to the solar panel company and just ensure, like, hey, like, are these working properly? Should we have gotten more panels installed? Have that kind of conversation. But we won't get there until we actually review all the months of the year. So just something worth noting. And then, as I always do, I'll go through what the financials look like, with the solar loan included. We have 7% interest rate on the solar panels, which is pretty high. So we'll jump down here. So the in-phase data was 424. That's what we produced, just rounding up. And then self-generated outflow on the bill was 306. So we sold that back. Gives us a total used while producing of 118. So we didn't have to pay for any of those since we actually used those kilowatt hours right as they were being generated, which is great. Once again, so we were charged that 301 for usage. So if we add back that total used while producing, it gives us 419, which is what we would have been billed if we didn't have solar panels. And just as a good reference, so like I said, that's 419, gives us about $82. If you look at last year's bill, it was 440 kilowatt hours charged for a bill of 86. So right in that ballpark, $82. Our current bill is only 36, so you subtract that out. We actually saved $45, assuming we didn't have a loan on the panels. Since we do, and it is that high interest rate at the moment, we did end up paying an additional $40, which honestly is probably most of the interest on the loan. So once we pay those off, we'll be saving money right away. And it is still, if you add all the numbers together, it really ends up being about a 10 to 12 year payback. So even though we can pay the loan off, we still would have been better off by not having the panels for the first 10 years. But then after that 10 years goes by, then you're actually saving money from years 20 through 30 and however long you live after that. So yeah, it's definitely still worth it in the long run. But yeah, the short term first 10 years are a bit tougher. So I kind of view it's still very minimal dollar amounts that we're paying extra at the moment. So I view it as kind of like contribution for helping the environment. And it is just a great feeling to be able to, help the environment out and net some of your electric charges. So still very happy with it, and would definitely recommend it to everybody that has a good setup for it. You have to have a south facing roof and all that stuff. But yeah, so definitely a good month. May was great. I'm hoping June will be better. June should be the best month, just given that that's the time the sun is out the most. So yeah, once again, guys, really appreciate listening. Would love to hear how everyone else that has solar panels is doing. If they have 8 panels, if they're producing the same amount, and just how they're liking them. So all right, guys, have a good one. Thanks for listening.